I mean, what more can we say? Courtney is just unhinged.
Like it's delirium, ay, ay, like it's delirium, ay, I got delirium, ay, like it's delirium, yeah, yeah, like it's delirium. She just wanna bounce to it, baby, get your giddy on. Walk up to the stage with a drink like I'm Giveon, but I never came here to sing what I'm really on.
What's going on, y'all? It's your girl Taina B here, and welcome to my chat party. If you're here to join me for a little bit, a lot of it, fashionably early, fashionably late, to hear my little thoughts, my little views, my little opinions on Married at First Sight season 20, episode number 13. Also, another one of my favorite numbers because it's my actual numerical born day number, the breaking point. That I appreciate you so much from the bottom of my heart. For those of you in your viewership, for those of you hitting the subscribe button, for those of you doing your two-step on the dance floor with the comments, for those of you most importantly who are joining the VIP party list to the party. Salute, salute. I see y'all. All love. I appreciate you. And I thank each and every last one of you from the bottom of my heart, truly and honestly. But we already have to go ahead and get into these things because, listen, they're going to keep giving us stuff to talk about on this Married at First Sight situation if they don't give us anything else. Am I correct or am I correct? So let's go ahead and hop into it. We're now at less than 3 weeks to decision day. We start off with Marissa finally having some time at her place with her friends. Thank God for that. I was happy for her. And she's filling them in. Of course, the pickleball comes up and just how intense of a person Adam can be when it comes to stuff like that. And her one friend says in a side interview that Marissa needs someone who's going to allow her to be herself. Don't we all, right? And in past relationships, they've made her feel what she's had to offer wasn't 100%. And I'm like, well, friend, let me tap you on the shoulder, friend, come close, because I hate to tell you, but your friend unfortunately is in another situation, another scenario that's yet the same. Because on the level even of pickleball, Adam wanted so much from her on that court. Like, y'all remember just how serious he was. I can even recall her messing up. He was not feeling it. He was irritated and all of that. So when I tell you at the end of the day, she was good and she was a team player because I just felt like I would have tried it first, but then the way I would have politely had a seat before the next round of pickleball. And I also remember, I think there was a bunch of people on that court. I'm like, well, maybe somebody could fill in for me. Maybe one of these people, I'm sure they wouldn't mind playing, but I'm going to sit this next one out because that's just when it becomes that level of something that's supposed to be fun that becomes that big of a deal, like that doesn't work for me. But either way, or um the friend goes on to say Adam seems rigid and is. And I told y'all he'd been storing that doggone rigid quality and characteristic in that rule book that has been hidden underneath a rug somewhere. But I feel like now, since it's rearing its head through pickleball, that means in between jet skiing and pickleball, he went right up under that rug, grabbed that rule book, dusted that joint off, and was like, I'm back. Here I am. Here I go. It's game on. But, anyways, Marissa says the last couple of days have been stressful, but she's happy she's able to talk to her girls. And I'm like, again, I'm sure you are. That's more medicine than you even knew you needed. And she, at this point, is still catching up with them. Adam comes out to chat with the girls, and they get back into pickleball. And I tell y'all, if I got to say pickleball one more time, the way that I've never even played, but I don't think I have a desire to after hearing it so much here, and then I think if I ever were to get on the court, I'm having Adam in my mind, like, oh Lord, it's just his intense faces. But anyways, um, so he's letting the girls know that Marissa's the normal one and he's more at an intense level with things. But here's the thing with that, Adam. He always says it so matter of factly to me, you guys. Like his tone is, I'm the intense one, period. That's it. That's all. Not I'm the intense one, comma. Not I'm the intense one, but I need to lighten up. or I'm the intense one, but I want to work on that because I don't want Marissa to feel uncomfortable with it. Or I realize it's intense for me, but not so much for her. So I want to try to find a common ground with things. Like we don't get any of that. And I feel like that's the problem as to why, again, that rigid is there and that rigid ain't going anywhere. And the moral of the story is that they still haven't figured out what their future goals will look like. And I'm like, not so good. But let's move on. Courtney and Nick. And as soon as I heard her voice, I was like, God, no. But we got to do it, right? And we can do it. We've done hard things in life. So we're going to do this hard thing, y'all, and we're going to push through this, okay? And we're going to push through it together. We've got each other's back. She feels that Nick has some opinions he's not expressing. He agrees. And I just feel like just the moral I want to say of this whole situation, conversation, season with her is that she's just a downright disrespectful and nasty person. There ain't no change in that. But let's move on. Because the moment he does try to express himself to her, she goes off. He can't say two words to her about how he truly feels, but yet she feels he should be comfortable with her. A fresh example is present right in front of your face, Courtney, as exactly to why this man is not comfortable to you. Because something as simple as the flashback that we get of him driving in a car with her about to pull off, and he says such and such and such and such, let's boogie, to which she then responds, oh, well, when I was a kid, like my grandma, my grandma would say that, and it gives me an ick. So something as simple as that gives you, see, and again, it goes back to the point of you stay trying to and succeeding in your own world at finding things wrong with this man, like everything that he does. I'm sure you don't even like the way that he walks. Do you like the way that he breathes? Do you like the way that he blinks? I think it's everything. And it's like, even this is an issue. That's wild. So Nick feels like she's not goofy with him, but is when they're around other couples. And I believe he brought up the example of Adam and Marissa. He might have said some other people, my ear joined to Adam. I said, well, Nick, that's because that's low key her man crush at the end of the day. So it's easy for her to, of course, give him all she's got. Okay. But, anyways, of course, I will just say that she gets into dropping all these F bombs and whatnot, her favorite thing to do. But she's claiming that she needs him to be him. That's a whole lie. I'm glad that Nick kind of did speak up a little bit for himself in the moment. It's more than what we've been giving, and it's more honesty behind it. I feel like with the way that she's been treating him, because I think he said he's even felt, demoralized and all this other stuff. And naturally from there also, in addition to the f-bombs that she loves to drop, she starts blaming everything on him, and Nick feels she projects the issues from her past relationships onto him. And I said, that's a whole fact. And Nick, you're in an extremely hopeless situation, okay, as a penny with a hole in it. Shout out to Dion Farris. Ba 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 ba. Y'all remember that? I know, like, okay, I know y'all know what I'm talking about, or at least I think you do. And it's so crazy to me. I used to always watch videos of YouTubers and be like, why do these people always bust out in song? But I'm telling you, it's something about it. Like, you just, when you get in the moment, things come back. You just, it spills out. So, anyways, I haven't heard that song in years, but the way I'm about to play it on today and probably blast it on my surround sound. Anyways, let's move on. So, Michelle and Cam, they're out having a drink, and he shares their relationship is so perfect to the point where he feels they could both lose the passion. I said, oh Lord, now see, Cam, Felipe got you using that word. Let's throw that word away. Let's retire it. Let that be a Felipe thing. Don't you dare let him hop onto you with that nonsense, okay? And he's just wondering how they'll be able to sustain their happiness. And I think with some of these people too, they think too far ahead, right? And in some instances, in some, you know, situations that you're talking about, yes, you need to, but other things, not so much, I feel like. And Michelle even says when Cam gets in his head, she gets nervous and is wondering if he's starting to have doubts about decision day. And I'm like, Cam, just ride the wave. Ride the wave, sir. You have something beautiful going on here, which is makings for a great foundation, a strong foundation, so that when the trials and the tribulations come to try to shake what you have, they will fail every time because that foundation is too strong. Okay, unlike others who start off with rocky stuff and then a little huff will come and wither away their whole situation or cause them to be in a tumultuous situation where there's just confusion all the time. So, you've got to just understand that you're in a very good space right now. You really are. And things are not always going to be, sun rays and sunflowers and sunshines, but there is an art to navigating through that. And trust me, you can do it. People do it all the time. Okay. People do it all the time. Many of people, thousands of people married 50 years and 60 years and 70 years. Don't lose hope in marriage to y'all out there too. And I'm sometimes I feel like I'm surrounded by with people who either, like I said, are not in happy marriages or have not had successful marriages, or people who are single and feel like marriage should not be a thing. I'm like, listen, if there's other people that are able to be in happy marriages, then that means it's a thing and it can happen for you too. Some things take time. Some things take about, a couple of people to work through. So where you're like, no, 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 no to you, no to you, no to you. Oh, there you go. There you, yes to you. You know what I mean? Like it takes time, but it's a thing. So, Cam, you got to understand a happy marriage is a real thing. And if you don't want it to go that way, just do your work, do your part. Michelle seems like a willing party that's wanting to do her part. I will say on the flip side of that, because I am a two-sided coin, shout out to the Libras out there. Um, I get his perspective too, right? Because it's understandable coming from someone who hasn't made it past a 6-month relationship. So you don't know what it looks like outside of that amount of time and what long term is and what's put into long term and all of that. But at the end of the day, like I said, you've got something good and going. To me, this is something worth risking, the possibilities for, worth taking a jump off the ledge for, because it's going really, really well. And Michelle is even trying to encourage him in that moment too. And I think she'll continue to do that. This is again, when your partner is weak, you're strong. So as she's, encouraging him, it'll be the same way. Then when she's feeling down about something, he'll encourage her. So Cam, that's how it goes. You know what I mean, my guy? Like just hang in there. But anyways, now we're on to Caitlin and Devin. Didn't feel like seeing her either because it's too soon for whatever she'll be complaining about, but here we are. They're out as well, it appears, to dinner, cheersing with their drinks. And I'm like, what are we cheersing to? Like, to what? For what? What's the happy moment in this? What's the cheers in this? But, anyways, they bring up the group dinner and he tells her he wasn't trying to put her on blast. Um, and she feels like at the dinner, the stuff she learned from Devin, was it the dinner or the group session? I'm confusing myself, but she feels like the stuff she learned from Devin was shocking. She feels like he loves to elicit a response from her, even if it's a negative one. It's a response nonetheless. And he says, look, arguing is not my thing. Hate it, not into it, none of that. He feels like uncomfortable conversations are necessary. And I said, correct, because they are. That helps with growth. That helps with progress, girl. And I feel like sometimes too, there's a level of immaturity relationship wise that comes with Caitlyn. I really do. Like I just feel like, for all these relationships, girl, you've been in, or some of these serious ones you've been in, like this is how you're operating. I don't know. But that's a whole different story for a whole different day. But in true Courtney fashion, and yes, I said it correct, y'all. I'm not getting my words minced or messed up like I usually do, because I know I'll be confusing these people. And I appreciate y'all for working with me. But in Courtney fashion, her BFF, because it's what her BFF would say, Caitlyn feels like it's not necessary to have those uncomfortable conversations. And she's like, a 15-minute conversation would have taken care of that. And yes, maybe for you, but clearly not for him. Okay. And it's not just about you. It's not just you. Like this girl, I don't know if she's just used to being pacified and coddled throughout relationships. Yeah, she's told us one way, but remember, her perspective on things is a little different, being of how we're observing with how she's operating with Devin, in my opinion. So it's like, I don't know. Let's consider your whole husband's feelings, girl. Let's do that. And he comes up with a solution to make it better for her, of course. And the rest of the conversation, he's accommodating her and accommodating her only. You think that it's going back the other way to where she's accommodating him? Well, if you thought that, you thought wrong. Let's move on. And at this point, I'm like, can we just hurry up and get to the group session so I can see if Nick will be removed from his misery with this demon seed? But Mecca and Beljalee are having hot chocolate. They creep back into some childhood stories. He used to wet the bed as a teen with things he had been through. She was so poor that she would have to eat toothpaste for dinner, y'all. And when I tell you, I ain't never heard that one, I said, oh, wow. Now that is super deep. I have never heard anything at that level to where you have to eat toothpaste. That's great. Oh, can you just imagine that too? And the acidity, that strong menthol. Did I say acidity? I meant to say acidity. That strong menthol taste, even that going down your throat. Can you imagine, like, when a little bit can get caught down your throat? I'm just like, so how do you sit there and eat that? That is so sad. It was just horrible to hear the stories from both of them. But thank God that it looks like on today, your situations are not what they used to be. You're not still living that. So thank God for the change that came with that and that you don't have to live that. But it allows them to connect more. She shares that birthdays are more important to her, even through not having them growing up, or excuse me, even through not having things growing up, because they still would find ways to celebrate birthdays. So he said in his side interview that her birthday is coming up and he's going to be sure to make it special. And I said, that's how you do it, Mecca. Instead of thinking of ways out like your boy Felipe, you think of ways to make your situation better. So DJ, shout out and cheers to you. So Tori's in her apartment catching up with her sister on FaceTime. She's, bringing her up to speed on how Felipe played himself at that dinner. And Tori says in her side interview, she's not here for a build a boy. Okay. I said, say it again. All right. She's not here for the build a boy of it all. She doesn't have time for it. And she's also sharing with her sister that she's noticing his mother does a lot of things for him. And I can see that. It's good to be close and all that. But, I'm close with my boys, but I still recognize and realize that when you hold your kids' hands through everything. And sometimes it's hard. Don't get me wrong. And sometimes my husband will call back and call me out on it like, yo, babe, you got to chill with this, because it's like, you're like, oh, no, 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 but I want to. You're doing them a disservice. You really are. You've got to let them learn how to stand on business and be the young men and turn into the young man that can be appreciated, that can do his own thing. Like I told them, and I tell my kids all the time, we are trying to create in you men who will be productive in this world, men who will be respectful, men who don't have to rely on anybody but yourselves. You are going to bring value to the table, okay? It's going to be so good to the point where you ain't worried about what you bring. You just checking for what they bring to make sure that they match and align with what you're giving. And so, like I said, you can really hinder. I've seen instances like that too, where these mama's boys, oh gosh, it becomes a time. So I get her point exactly, but she's saying, so based off of that, she doesn't know how she can really trust that he'll be able to do things on his own. And his dad even helped him get his last job. And she says there's a lot of orange flags. I said, girl, it's okay. Let's go ahead and change those to red, though. And she's not sure he understands what the experiment is about. And her sister says, this is gross. And she doesn't like it. I said, well, sis, wait till you watch the last episode that we saw. Okay. Wait till you see. And watching it all come from his mouth is a whole different experience. Let me tell you that. So Tori shares how in the last group session, they both said they would say yes if it were decision day. But she's saying at the group session that they'll attend the following night, she thinks it would be a no. So there's no way that she could be with someone that's that indecisive. And so Tori is giving, I don't know what you've been told, Taina B. Okay, but I'm wake, hun, and she's awake. So shout out to my party people that called that out. I'm so mad I didn't get a chance to check that and get your name. But I remember you making that comment that you kind of felt like Tori's is smart and she gonna be all right. And I was like, oh, I don't know, because she looking at him like, yeah, she might want to change his life, but she's on it. And I hope she stays that way. And so now we get to Mecca, who has a beautiful setup for Beljoli's birthday. She walks in, she has a trail of just candles and rose petals and just a room full of beautiful flowers, which I love, y'all. Flowers are my thing. He definitely want me at those flowers. Just, I love beautiful flowers and I love them. I don't know. I just have an appreciation for them more in the past years. And although I definitely receive flowers from others, which is so sweet, particularly, from my spouse, I make it a point to buy flowers for myself. And it's not, a bougie thing or I don't know, e- ego trip thing. Can't think of the right words, but it's a me thing and a pouring back into me, right? You also want to be good to yourself. You can't wait and rely on people. I don't care how good people have been or may not have been good to me, I'm going to be good to myself. And so that's just a little gesture, a little token, a little thing to me from me, like, hey girl, I see you, here's some beautiful flowers for you. And now we're not going to talk about how, even looking right now through my office doors on my kitchen island, those flowers need to be changed out. But it's the point of, make it a point, y'all, if you don't, to get yourself some flowers. It's a beautiful thing. I don't know, something about it just kind of gives you a little extra pep in your step too, which I love. But anyways, they get more into the mood, and she is just enamored and just so like, oh my gosh, this is amazing with what he's done. That mood is quickly interrupted when the smoke detector goes off, making all this damn noise in the middle of a beautiful moment. But anyways, he then proceeds and he gives her her gifts, and I just thought that was really sweet of him, because you tell he put thought into it. He put a little change into it. I feel like from the logo that I'm not sure. It might have been a nice little cute pink Marc Jacobs bag, and then some type of probably good smelling perfume. I don't think we saw the front of that, but she's just really moved by it. And he was like, look, you deserve it. You really deserve it. And so I really can appreciate him just being attentive to what she's already explained to him. That means he's listening. That means that he's being thoughtful, and that's super important. And so I'm here for it. I love it. I just hope for sure that it's not a situation though, because it kind of popped in my mind a little bit where even though I heard him when he told the others that he would be crazy not to say no to her, I just hope that he's really meaning what he's saying. And this is still not on some friendship level type stuff, right? Because you can still see it for somebody, but you're like, they're like my best friend, but that's about it. So, of course, I would do this for them. I just want to make sure that he's really tapping more into the romance side of it all. And it's not just them, having sex as buddies and partners, that he's really it seems like his wheels have been spinning, but I don't know, that could be making me nervous sometimes. He really does. It's like I really want to believe him, but I don't know that I fully do, but we'll have to see. Okay, anyway, so Tori and Felipe, he comes home with his old dusty self. I say, made me mad now, Felipe. But they have a sit down. She shares she wants him to step a little more. She has a bunch of meetings with work. She needs help with her animal care and just kind of helping around the house. And he's like, oh, I'm 100% willing to help. And she says she's nervous about the group session coming up. He feels like things are good. She tells him she feels like things are not good and that they're not on the same page. She feels like he hasn't been interested or curious about her lately. And it's like he has this epiphany in the moment, y'all, because I don't know if you catch it the way I caught it, how he said it, but he was like, wow, you're right. Thank you for saying that. Hold on. So let me get this right. So you're thanking her for reminding you of the fact that you're not showing that much interest in her. I said, now this really is bad. Now, Tori, when I tell you the way this man keeps slapping you right in your face with the necessaries to be like, wow, I would have been like, okay. And again, sometimes you don't even have to react to things, right? You could quietly suck that thing right on in, like, okay, I got you. I got you covered. All good. Because I was like, all right. And I feel like that, again, since this is his favorite word, that shows us right there. It seems like the passion must already be gone for him. He's clearly bored. And clearly that's giving to that avoidant, right? Because it's like, why is she feeling this already? Why are you giving her that already? How did you get there so fast? I don't know. It's just just not good. But anyways, yeah, I that was a lot. I was just like, oh girl, it's over. But okay, let me move on. So Nikki and Sean, they're having a date night making candles. He wants to know her ideas when it comes to finances and how they would map things out. So they get into a nice conversation, detailed conversation about that. And I felt like he was speaking her love language for sure when it got into his plans for the future. So thankfully in that moment, the conversation ended well. Okay. Let's not elaborate. Let's not draw any attention to it. Let's not wake the bear in them. Let's move on. Let's keep it like it is. Good for now. And yet, still, even in this moment, I'm like, can we come on already with the group session? Although the couples are now pretty much getting prepared to go. And in the meantime of preparing, Nick asked Courtney how she's feeling. And after we saw what transpired after that, I said, Nick, I'm sure you're sorry that you asked. And so she claims she wouldn't be there if she didn't care about him. If you say so, girl. But every time they have discussions, he's always telling her what she does wrong. And I came across the title of a video, y'all, as I was scrolling through YouTube one of the days because someone had already seen this and clearly, well, what's today? Saturday? Yeah. Um, whatever. And I think it said something like Courtney is a gaslighter, and I ain't watched the video. I ain't watch it because again, I didn't want to be swayed since I haven't seen this episode yet. And I said she truly is. Even with that title alone, I can agree. But she's also showing some other traits that lean over into the narcissistic way of doing things, in my opinion. And I'm telling y'all right now, I have not hopped on the trend of narcissism. I was on that way before it became a thing. I can remember my son was probably like, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 years old. And I remember a family member who I've discovered is, in fact, a narcissist at the time was just displaying all these things. And I was trying to figure them out. And long story short, I started doing research, I started doing homework, and I came across narcissism. And I was like, oh my goodness, every last one of these traits is them. Whoa, this is scary. And that is when I discovered the word narcissism. Okay. And now my son is 16. So that was 15 plus years ago that I came across that word. But anyway, so I've said all that to say I don't use it lightly and I don't use it sparingly and I don't use it just because others are using it. I use it when I really believe that it truly applies because I feel like now, right? You know they expect praise 24/7 and don't you dare utter a bad word about them. So she's always focusing on how he's saying negative things to her. What has he said to her that's been so life-changing? That's been so offensive? Nothing, but that's how sensitive they can be to things, right? And then also, everything is about them. They're always the victim, right? As she's been in her own mind. We don't see it that way, but she sees it that way. And if we're being honest with the word gaslighting, narcissists are gaslighters. So I feel like, yeah, if the shoe fits, then okay. I would even play myself though a little bit in this moment and go on and say that she keeps expressing she's so deep and he's only been giving her superficial. And maybe that is the TV side of Nick that a lot of people are hung up on. So her point may not be so invalid in how he's showing up, but the way she's handled that man to get her points across have been diabolical. Okay, they have been diabolical. And even now, here he is yet again trying to express how he feels, and she's cutting him off. And he's like, I can't even really get a word in edgewise before you're invalidating how I feel. And he's right. Like he literally might have said 2 to 3 words. I promise y'all. And y'all watch with me. But for those of you who did it, and she literally hopped right in to tell him what he was doing wrong. I'm like, girl, relax. Somebody give her something to sit her down and calm her nerves. And Nick feels or tells her he doesn't know how this will look long term. And I'm like, finally, he's alive. He's alive. He's alive, y'all. He's alive. Like the words I've been waiting to hear. I said, now can we act on it? Now can you pack your stuff and get the hell on? But, anyways, we finally make it to the group session. And I have to make it a quick point to say that when Devin and Caitlin walk in, Dr. Lisa's telling Caitlin how she seems very, very chipper. And y'all want to know why? Because Taylor Swift's album came out. Now, again, I hope I don't get y'all to unsubscribe on this because I am not a Swiftie, okay? But it's just by default. I'm just not, okay? I've never been checking for Taylor like that. But it's like that's what makes you more excited. Your own husband doesn't do it for you in that way, but Taylor Swift does. I'm like, wow. So to cut to the chase of it all, Paul says, be prepared to let us know if you're all in or not tonight. And he then heads straight over to Courtney and Nick. And I'm like, yes, please, let's just do it now. Let's get it over it. Put us all out of our misery. And now, after I saw the last episode, I thought about it, y'all. And I was like, well, at the same time, this could be a Tori and Felipe thing as the couple who's going to end it because I'm like, how producers will edit shows in a way to make us think it's one way, but it's really something else. And they don't want to state the obvious or make it the obvious, but you never know. And sometimes they get to the point of it being the obvious, but my strongest hopes still are for Courtney and Nick. And also, though, with the amount of time left I saw to the episode, I said, dang it, they're going to leave us on a cliffhanger. They ain't going to tell us. But Courtney lets everyone know they had a conversation that didn't go so well. And I'm like, people probably in their head were like, you don't say. No. Really? Like, we would have never guessed that. We are shocked. and she wants him to be his true self to her. And he's saying he's been genuine for his level of comfort and he's not putting on a show. And Paul asked Nick, if he feels like he's putting more effort at working on a marriage than Courtney. And I said, oh, shoot, Paul. Now, why'd you have to go and ask him something like that? I said, you trying to get this man's head taken off. All right. And even in that moment, I said, Nick, careful how you answer that because I already see her whole stinking head cocked to the side looking like, and you better answer that right. She was looking like, she wasn't even looking at him. She was looking like, mm-hmm, I wish you would. I wish you would. And so he gives his PC answer and says he wouldn't say more because he sees a lot of effort she's put in. He just feels his efforts aren't recognized. Said you probably shouldn't have said that either. But yes, he should have, right? Because at the end of the day, we want him to say how he's feeling. Who gives a damn about how she takes it, especially at this point? So Paul then asks if they have a strong romantic connection, and Courtney says she doesn't know. And the lie detector determined that was a lie. You don't know. You don't know. I said, see, you're not being true to yourself in this moment or true to Nick in this moment, like you would like for Nick to be, because you know that you're not feeling anything romantic towards that man. Let's get into exhibit A. I was waiting for the alarm clock to go off because I'm like, I want him to get the off me. Remember that? Or let's get into exhibit B. Yeah, because Adam's the hottest in the group. Remember that? Oh, okay. So I'm just saying. Either way, or Nick says they're compatible in many ways as friends. I say, ooh, God, you would even consider her a friend? I say it's a negative on that as well, but he lets us know they haven't found the romance. But DJ scratched the music right here. Because Dr. Lisa, I'm like, did you just say they're both likable people? They're both likable people? You might have meant in that moment to say Nick is a likable person, but you said that. But then I said, well, you know what? Maybe you know what? There's got to be some validity somewhat in that because Caitlyn likes her. They're like best friends, right? So I guess you're right. Maybe she. So we just view likable in different ways, right? Some of us, yeah. All right. So, anyways, um, she does say though that that is different, however, from wanting to build a marriage with the person. And I said, cheers to Dr. Lisa for not pushing the agenda because we know Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pierre, and Pastor Cal would have been like, well, no. But you guys are an awesome couple. Don't let this situation destroy the beautiful thing that you could have together. Don't do that. Don't. I see it. Like, you guys just keep doing the work. That's what they would have said. So I'm so glad that she said what she said. Don't let this man lead a miserable life with this lady. And so um Courtney feels like she can't be enough for Nick, or she doesn't know she'll be enough for Nick. And he says he still feels value in staying, even just to learn more about himself, but he feels like that wouldn't be fair to Courtney. And Nick said, listen, if I ain't gonna do nothing else, I'm gonna continue this damn TV time, okay? Get what y'all heard. But anyways, if you thought we were going to end that on a friendly note, you're wrong. Because Courtney is charged per usual and ready to go. When Dr. Lisa says to Nick, well, I'm not even sure you know what the work is, here comes this wench talking about because Nick then says, well, you're right, maybe I'm not clear. That's a valid point or whatever. She chimes in, Courtney, and says, well, you could be clear if you listen to me. Right, because the narcissist is always right too, for the record. Already you start seeing the faces in the room like, oh, here she goes. The F word is dropped yet again a couple of times. Faces drop even more. And Paul ends with if they're asking them if they're going to stay married or not. Courtney says she doesn't know. And I'm like, again, what don't you know, girl? What don't you know? Stop playing with everybody. Like, just be done with it. Do you think nobody can see through your nonsense? I think so. I think so. I really do. Because that's a narcissistic trait, also, right? They don't know that you're aware of what they're doing. Like, they think that they're just getting off unscathed, invisible, like they're just getting away with what they're doing. But sidebar, can I say I wish some of the women though would pull her to the side if they haven't already, and maybe we just didn't see it, to let her know that the way that she presents is just so harsh, is just so disrespectful, is just so mean, is just so unhinged, is just so emasculating, is just so evil, is just so unnecessary, it's just so impolite, it's just so disgusting. I could go on and on and on because it just is. It's giving nothing good. And I just feel like maybe they're not, or maybe they are afraid to rock the boat in telling her that, but sometimes you got to do it. It's like just watching how one human being is being treated from one human to another. Like, come on, have somebody's back in that situation to stand up for what's right and be like, yo, what you're doing is foul. You know what I mean? And I'll say that if they're not going to do it, I'm going to tell my party peoples, okay? I'm going to tell y'all, do not let people treat you and talk to you any kind of way. Please don't do that, my people. Please don't. And if you have a bad habit of doing that, everything is baby steps, right? Let's start with today. As you go throughout this day, be mindful of that. And it could look like different things, right? Because I'm a person, I'm firm on the fact of respect. I believe in respect for myself. I demand respect for myself, right? But sometimes that could depend on the setting that you're in. You're going to handle it in different ways. Sometimes you have to be professional because you're at work. Sometimes you can be raw because you're with your people and you know y'all out in the streets or whatever it is. But the bottom line is you've got to know your value. People are going to treat you how you allow them to treat you. Don't let them treat you any kind of way. Please don't. And I can go on. I don't want to make this video too long. I'm about to open up something. We about to get into a whole, a whole sermon of a situation. I know y'all are like, no, we not, because I'm about to click off. But just at least take that much. Don't let people talk to you any kind of way, okay? I value y'all. I respect y'all until you give me a reason not to, and vice versa, right? It goes both ways until I give y'all a reason not to. Hopefully you respect me too. Even here, like, let's just continue to show each other respect. That's what I can appreciate too about the comments, so far. And I know it's going to be some ones that still slide in because I've witnessed it, through other people on their channels and stuff like that. But let's just, and if even to, you know, just be mindful of how you present also, because in the same way that I demand it, I give it. I give it because I believe in that too. I believe in doing unto others as I would have them do unto me, as I would want them to do unto me, as I would want them to do unto my seeds and my other loved ones and everything like that. So sometimes it's bigger than you. Sometimes you don't know what kind of seed you are sowing, and whatever you sow is what you're going to reap. If you're sowing bad seed, you're going to get bad back. But if you're sowing good seed, you're going to receive good back, and it'll flow down, like I said, to those connected to you. But anyways, y'all, I'm done. Let me get off my soapbox, okay, and say that the music is on, the dance floor is lit, don't be no prude, and hold up the wall. Let me know what you think about this whole Courteney situation. I know y'all are tired like I am, but just let me know. And also, what do y'all think about this whole Mecca delight in this moment? Are y'all buying it? Do you feel like something is really opening up in him? Are you still a little, like, are you having reservations of what his true intentions with this are? Maybe he's just a nice guy doing a nice thing, and that's where it lands, because again, some things take time to open up, but I just hope that he's willing to do the work, even if it is going to take a little bit of time. When you again have willing people, teamwork makes the dream work, okay, y'all? But anywho, I hope this video found y'all in good spirits. If not, I hope I said a little something to put a smile on your face. I'm giving you all social hugs, okay? I'm going to try my best to push out these next 2 videos. I think I shared with y'all last time that I have vacation. I'm leaving early in the morning. I've got a lot to do today. I'm feeling like my next videos, I don't know how I'm gonna do it. Let me not even say it, because I don't want to put something out there and then not do it, but I'm gonna try to do my best, y'all, okay? But y'all know y'all will see me somehow, some way. So until then, y'all know what to do. Y'all stay up, y'all stay blessed, and I'm out. Peace.